Ever wonder what makes the Apple Watch so popular?
Mm.
Well, we're going to take a deep dive into its software, watchOS,
Okay.
and see why it gives Apple an edge over Fitbit OS and Google Wear OS.
Cool.
Our sources compare them across 5 key areas:
Which are?
ecosystem integration,
Oh.
health and fitness tracking,
Mm-hmm.
battery life, apps, and user experience.
You really picked some big ones.
We're going to unpack what makes each one tick.
And maybe uncover some surprises along the way.
Let's start with watchOS's tight integration with Apple's ecosystem.
It's like they're two sides of the same coin.
Take handoff.
Okay.
You start an email on your iPhone
Yeah.
and finish it on your watch
Seamlessly.
or the universal clipboard.
Yeah.
Copy and paste between your devices.
Without a hitch.
It's that it just works feeling.
The Apple magic.
But there's a catch.
Uh-oh.
You need an iPhone to use an Apple Watch.
So if you're on Team Android.
You're out of luck.
So Apple is kind of betting on keeping their current users happy.
And hoping to lure in some Android folks along the way.
Makes sense.
Now let's talk health and fitness.
Right.
The Apple Watch is loaded with tracking features.
Oh, yeah.
Like ECG, blood oxygen monitoring, fall detection.
Some are even FDA approved.
It's almost medical-grade tech.
It's serious stuff.
They're aiming to be your health companion.
And not just a step counter.
The ECG alone can detect atrial fibrillation.
Wow, that could be life-saving.
Like having a mini doctor on your wrist.
I like that.
Fitbit OS is great for fitness buffs,
Sure.
but it lacks that medical depth.
I see.
Google Wear OS is trying to catch up.
Hmm.
They're still behind in those advanced health features.
Right.
Now let's talk about the downside. Battery life.
Well, boy,
You need to charge that Apple Watch daily,
every single day.
which can be a pain, especially if you want to track sleep.
Yeah, that's rough.
Now, Fitbit OS excels here.
Oh, yeah.
Some Fitbits can go a whole week on one charge.
Wow, that's peace of mind.
Google Wear OS.
Sadly, it's in the same boat as watchOS.
Daily charging for most devices.
So a classic trade-off.
You get amazing features with watchOS. You pay with frequent charging.
Right.
Fitbit gives you freedom with long battery life.
But
You miss out on some bells and whistles.
it comes down to what matters most to you.
Exactly. Do you want a powerhouse that needs frequent charging?
Or
The freedom of a longer battery life with simpler features?
it's a personal choice.
You've got to decide what you value more.
For sure. Apple's playing a different game here.
It's like they're building an ecosystem,
Exactly.
not just a device.
Right.
And once you're
That's hook.
speaking of hooked, let's talk apps.
Oh, yeah. The app world.
Apple Watch users have access to tons of apps.
Through the Apple App Store.
It's like a mini version.
Made for your wrist.
This is another key part of their strategy,
Providing a platform for developers.
to create amazing apps for the Apple Watch.
Exactly.
And the result is a diverse app ecosystem.
With high-quality apps.
There are some real gems out there.
Like?
The Walkie-Talkie app.
For quick chats with friends.
And for fitness folks,
Okay.
Apple Fitness Plus.
Studio-style workouts on your wrist.
These aren't just gimmicks.
Right.
They extend the watch's functionality.
It's so versatile.
This is a big advantage over Fitbit OS
With its limited app selection.
and Google Wear OS
Which struggles with developer support.
and app optimization.
Hmm.
Apple's playing chess here.
While others are playing checkers,
We've created this cycle
more apps attract more users,
which attracts more developers.
leading to even more apps.
It's brilliant.
It really is.
Now let's talk about the user experience.
Another area where Apple shines.
The Apple Watch is known for its interface.
Smooth, intuitive, and enjoyable.
They obsessed over every detail,
From navigation,
to the tactile feedback.
it's polished and refined.
It's no accident.
They crafted the watchOS interface to be user-friendly.
And enjoyable.
Features like the digital crown, a miniature scroll wheel,
And haptic feedback.
provide subtle responses.
It's all about that intuitive experience.
Exactly.
The digital crown is genius.
Yeah?
It solves the problem of a tiny screen.
By making navigation natural,
And the haptic feedback
it adds a layer of engagement.
makes using the watch a delight.
It's the little things.
That make a big difference.
For sure.
These design choices create an unmatched experience.
In the smartwatch world.
Fitbit OS is functional,
Sure.
but prioritizes simplicity over sleekness.
And a Google Wear OS
Still struggles with consistency.
across devices
Apple gets how people interact with technology.
and designs accordingly.
They're not just building gadgets.
They're building experiences.
Now, let's not forget about the battery life.
The elephant in the room,
We've mentioned the daily charging.
which can be a pain
Let's dig deeper into why this is such a challenge
for Apple.
and what it means for their strategy.
The battery issue is tied to their commitment.
To packing in so many features.
Processing power
They're pushing the limits.
of what's possible in a wearable.
And that takes energy.
A lot of it.
So they're choosing features and performance.
Over battery life.
In a way, yes.
They believe users will accept the trade-off.
Daily charging for a powerful device.
It's a gamble.
But for many users,
It's worth it.
especially with fast charging advancements,
You can charge it quickly these days.
and they're working on better battery tech.
So expect improvements in the future.
So their strategy is pushing the envelope.
Features and performance over battery life.
They think users value innovation and seamlessness.
Above all else.
But is this sustainable?
In the long run,
Battery life is a big concern for many.
and Fitbit offers devices with longer battery life.
It's a valid question
Apple needs to innovate in battery tech,
to stay competitive.
but also be mindful of user needs
Finding the right balance is key.
between features, performance, and battery life.
It's a delicate dance.
But Apple isn't afraid to take risks.
And that's what makes them so fascinating.
To watch,
They're playing a high-stakes game for sure.
betting on their vision of the future.
And so far, it seems to be working.
But the game's not over yet.
So let's recap.
What are the key takeaways about watchOS?
And its competitive edge.
Well, watchOS is a powerhouse,
It's the brains behind the Apple Watch.
designed for a seamless, integrated experience.
It's more than just telling time.
Way more.
It's like an extension of your iPhone.
Staying connected without your phone.
Exactly. And that's where Apple's strategy shines.
It's an ecosystem.
Not just a device.
And for Apple users, it's a huge plus.
But it's not just about integration, right?
Nope.
They're also pushing the limits in health and fitness.
Those features are a game changer.
They're not just about tracking anymore.
Right.
It's about giving you insights.
And tools to take control of your well-being,
And with FDA-approved features,
like ECG and blood oxygen monitoring.
they're becoming a leader in the health space.
Absolutely.
And don't forget the app ecosystem,
A gold mine of innovative apps,
extending the watch's functionality.
making it so versatile.
This is where their strategy pays off,
Attracting developers, creating a thriving ecosystem.
making the Apple Watch appealing to many.
For sure.
So we've got ecosystem integration,
Yep.
health and fitness innovation,
Uh-huh.
a fantastic app ecosystem,
Yeah.
that signature Apple user experience.
Smooth, intuitive, enjoyable.
But we can't ignore the battery life.
The elephant in the room?
It needs daily charging.
That's the trade-off.
They packed so much in.
While battery life takes a hit
They're betting users will accept it.
for a more powerful experience.
And many do,
It's a compromise.
but worth it for the benefits.
Apple can't ignore it, though.
They need to keep innovating in battery tech,
To stay ahead,
especially with Fitbit's multi-day battery life,
it's a balancing act.
pushing the limits while meeting user needs.
It's what makes the wearables market so interesting.
So will watchOS stay on top?
Will Fitbit OS or Google Wear OS catch up?
It's hard to say.
The future is full of possibilities.
But Apple has created something special with watchOS.
Powerful, versatile, user-friendly.
And they've captured the imagination of consumers.
Like few others can.
Whether they can keep it up.
Remains to be seen.
But they're not going down without a fight.
For sure.
It'll be exciting to see how it all unfolds.
Absolutely.
For our listeners, here's the takeaway.
Okay.
If you're in the Apple ecosystem,
The Apple Watch with watchOS is a great choice.
an extension of your digital life,
A powerful tool for health and fitness.
and access to amazing apps,
But even if you're not an Apple fan,
pay attention to what they're doing,
they're often leading innovation.
setting the trends,
Keep your eyes open, stay curious.
and maybe one day.
You'll join the watchOS revolution.
Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive.